Hey guys, welcome aboard. Today I would like to discuss a few scenarios for the Bitcoin because recently we almost reached the level of resistance that I mentioned in the previous video, around $25,000. This is a key level here for us. We either have to reverse, at least locally, or to continue the upside movement. And today we are going to discuss not only the technical analysis aspects of the market and price action, but also the fundamental ones, why this movement is going on and why it is going to be stopped at some point, because you should understand one thing: it is not a bull run yet, it is just a bear market rally, and these rallies can be even very significant, as a lot of people are questioning right now whether we are going to go further to 28, 36, $40,000 or higher like we did in 2019. A lot of people are referring to this price action here, and you should know there exists a probability of drawing this thing, and it also applies to what I mentioned and to those reasons that I mentioned in the previous video. And also, you should know that the market maker always follows these narratives, and as well as they followed the narratives that everybody expected the price at $10,000 here and even at $13,000. They knew that even if people expect the price to come to $10,000, they are going to buy heavily everything upon that $13,000. That is why we didn't get this price. And of course, the reasons are, as we can see. Let's turn on our 50 and 200 moving average. These are the reasons here that I mentioned before. We were on the verge of marking the first ever death cross on the weekly time frame on Bitcoin, and that is a huge thing and very actually massive thing, because if we draw it, we will have to play it out even with delays, and playing out the weekly death cross would be very, very deadly for the market and for especially for the players, for the small players like we are, and definitely we would reach this global trend line. But we don't know whether this death cross is going to happen here. But what we can assume here and understand at this point is that we are starting with this move. We started to slightly reverse this 50 and 200 moving average band, and what we need for them to reverse even more and start to climbing, and getting in the opposite directions from each other to save ourselves from the weekly death cross. Definitely we need the price either to start consolidating somewhere here, or continuing reclaiming them. They are not going to reclaim, but meaning we need to go higher at some point, and I think we are going to do that, but I think it is not going to happen immediately, straight away. And we should mention the thing that I mentioned earlier. Well, we cannot break these so important levels like this without the retest of the daily. What we have here, the daily, we are on the verge right now of drawing the golden cross on the daily time frame. So basically it is a good thing. A lot of people will become bullish, but that is not a guarantee, of course, that this is going to be a lasting golden cross. Of course, this golden cross would be a good thing that will promise us the potential market recovery in the future, but that can be a temporary fake golden cross that is going to get that we can reclaim it and then deactivate it for some time, like it was in 2019 2020. Like here we marked this golden cross, then we started chopping here, and then we got rejected. We didn't know what is going to happen next, but what we know at this point is that we need to, and I mentioned it on my Twitter account, we do not break these important levels immediately. We never break them from the first attempt. So we haven't even tried at this point because we didn't touch this 25,000 intersection of this 250 moving average bands. So basically we will feel when we touch it, if we touch it, we will feel the reaction from here, and that would make sense for me because I told you we cannot break such an important level without the retest, and we always usually make these retests here. Here's the 200 moving average and 550 moving average on the daily time frame. So we need to retest them, whatever they are going to be at that point, and whether they are going to cross each other. We have to retest them first, which is going to happen somewhere around 21,000 or 20,500, somewhere there. And when we retest it, if we feel the strength here upon these two moving averages, if we hold it and feel the strength, then we are going to be sent higher and we are going to pump even higher. So basically we need that retest to be sent through this strong resistance ahead. And from the monthly time frame, let's enable our monthly time frame and the Kijun shift. And what we can see here, the important information, as I told you, as the January started, during the first days of January, I mentioned that we need to, that these 2 months, the January, February, are going to be ascending ones, the safe one in my opinion, but we need to focus how we are going to cross the monthly Kijun further. First of all, we have to follow how we are going to hold this support here. If we retest it and we get back up, we have this monthly limit around 28,000, and if we are going there and we are stopping there, the most important thing is going to happen when we cross the March, and how we are going to cross this Kijun, monthly Kijun. If we are going to open under it, we can go as high as we can. As I mentioned before, my limit is around $34,000, and then we are going to feel some rejection. And the most important part here is, and this is the level of our higher range resistance, somewhere there, $34,000. It is going to be the decision area for the reversal, and this reversal is going to happen whether we like it or not. Anyway, the question is whether this rejection and this correction from this moment or from this moment is going to lead us to the retest of the main support here around $18,000, which is, I guess, is going to be, I give it I don't know, 80-90% of chance that we are going for the retest of that area, maybe even 2017 all-time high. We don't know. Yes, and less chances we have to already at this moment, if we continue the run this month, less chances we have to retest our current bottom of this cycle. And the lowest, I guess 20%, I would give to the opportunity that we will go lower at some point. And it is not, I'm not bearish or bullish or whatever. I just do these predictions based on TA here and on the fundamental stuff. We are going to discuss the fundamental aspects right after we look at some things. The moment we broke $20,000, I told you before in early 2022 that if we are breaking that $20,000, that key level, we are going to be entering into a very dangerous zone where we can see something like this on the macro level. As you can see, this is our range in the 2021, 2022. As you can see, we drew this reverse Adam and Eve setup. We broke the support line. We came to this level, and now we are retesting it. The retest is going to happen between $28,000-$34,000. We can squeeze it to with some fake outs, whatever. But what is going to happen after that? That is the most important part. And this significant recovery we are witnessing right now, it is the reason for it. We can name many reasons for that. Basically, this weekly death cross possibility, the possibility of the recovery here, and to attract more money and liquidity into the market. And what is going to happen next, we don't know that yet, but we know the history and what the history says us. Basically, a lot of people were predicting how this market work. Let's look at it. How the macro market is working, both on the traditional markets and crypto, because they are correlated at the moment, and will be, I guess. So basically, how this works. Okay, we were here in 2021. The early followers on my Twitter account, they know that I was warning everybody that if we don't break 60,000 upon this try, we are going down significantly, and we went down upon the rejection here. So what was that time? It was that time that I mentioned that the US economy is facing the crisis and a huge recession is going to happen with the American stock market and other stuff. And not only me, and even sophisticated, experienced American and Western and other popular financial gurus and the investors, like even Michael Burry, they were predicting that the market is going to dump. And if, as we found out after the reveal of the tax reports, Michael Burry started to short this market at the beginning of 2021. After that, after we dumped here, he also mentioned that we are going for a crisis and we are going to dump. But after that, the market started the recovery, and everybody started to laugh at him, as they did, I guess, yesterday or a few days earlier, after he made this tweet with the only word "sell," and everybody started to laugh at him, because after that the Bitcoin and crypto market started to pump like crazy again, and everybody started to laugh. And it was disgusting, because these people simply do not know what the man is saying in these tweets. It doesn't matter. We play at completely different levels. We, the retail investors, and the rich and smart money like Michael Burry. It doesn't mean he is shorting it or selling anything. It means it is going to happen. And usually the market maker trades, provides the price action to the market to counter trade these smart traders. Because if everybody would listen to, after Michael Burry posted his shorty signals during 2021, the price of S&P and Bitcoin, they started to pump almost immediately after that. So they are trying to convince the crowd not to believe these smart people, and they try to counter trade. The market maker always tries to counter trade not only the crowd, they will win the crowd anytime, at any time. They have always did that, and they will do that every time. But the most important for them is to outplay the smart people, smart money, and sophisticated investors. These are their main headache. So basically, and the market didn't started the recovery here, and everybody thought it is going to be the new bull run, and I told you it is not. I was predicting that Bitcoin is going to reverse either here finally, or the ultimate variant was here, and we did that. And this Bitcoin ETF approval was only the exit liquidity movement to get on board more and more people from retail investors who are not following what is going on. So definitely, and this happened when? This happened at the beginning of the September, October, I guess. It was this run, and November, and that was the time when I told you that prepare the highest pumps and highest exit liquidity is happening before the Fed, that was already under the pressure of the highest inflation. They are going to change their policy. It is going to be only the matter of time. The market, only the crowd, the retail investors, they only react to the words, the lies of these elites and the governments that are providing this news, these speeches, that after that the market reacts to them. So, but the market started to showed the incoming crisis long before that, and smart people told it to you, but you laughed at them. Well, who's laughing now? A lot of people lost all their money on this way of this dumb one-sided downtrend. So basically, when in fall of the 2021, when the Fed started to raise the interest rates, the market started to dump sharply. And now, when we are already in the process, when the situation starts a little bit stabilizing and the inflation rate started to decrease, but usually the Fed continues to raise those rates, but only by 0.25 BPS. It is just and nobody is surprised about that. Everybody is already adjusted to that, and that is why the market doesn't react with the new significant dumps, and that is the reason why we are pumping right now, because everybody is used to this small interest rates hikes, and everybody is expecting that in a few months whatever the Fed is going to reverse its policy, it is going to stop raising those interest rates, and we are going to go in the opposite direction, and everybody expects it to be the start of the new bull run. But if you analyze thoroughly the market cycles and of the traditional market, and when these how these crises were handled, and how they ended this pivotal the pivot of the federal government's policy, when they start to say, okay, we are stopping to the situation stabilized, we are stopping to increase those rates, and we are starting to decrease them. Okay, and that is the moment. And before that moment, usually the market pumps before they announce that they are going to change the policy. And after that, when this announcement comes, we usually have the final pump on the euphoria, on the expectation that the market stabilized and we are going to the moon already. And that is the moment when the market starts down sharply. And that is what I guess Michael Burry was trying to warn us about. He cannot tell a lot and explain a lot of things, because after any significant, important and revealing tweet, the FBI comes to his house and they start pressuring him. So definitely he has to say if he has to say something, he has to cover it with some words that will not be proven and will not be understood by the masses. So basically, the history shows that in situations like this pump is very important for the market makers and for the assets. The market makers use this time to raise the price as high as they can, because they know what is going to happen when the federal government is going to announce that they are going to stop raising the interest rates and they are reversing their policy regarding the inflation has been beaten. And after that, usually we have significant dumps. Maybe it is not going to be that significant as it historically was before, but it is going to happen. And no matter how high we are going to go, we are going to be back at least in this zone. And if it's going to be like in those critical cycles, we can even go lower. And it is not a prediction, it is a caution for you guys to be prepared to something like this. These bumps are not coincidental. They are driven because the big guys, they know something, they know how this market works, and it is just the retail investors, the new investors, the crypto traders who only know their market. They don't know how these cycles and the market structuring works on this traditional market. So we have to pay attention to them. And if you look at our S&P 500, what we were talking about before, let me just turn on the super trend here. Okay, we already broke this counter trend line that we were running for a long time, but still we are fighting for the Gijun shift here as final resistance. And there is a high possibility. I don't think we are going to squeeze back out under. There is high possibility that we continue. Let's look at this one. It is, and we already have this drawn by me. So basically, I told you what is going to happen if we are going to break this Kijun, this counter trend line. that we held for a long time. Basically, we are going to wait a minute, please. So what we have here, if we are breaking it, we are starting to go higher. We meet the first resistance somewhere here, and I told you that there is a possibility to draw something like this in the coming months, and that is what a lot of, and also the Michael Burry also posted some similar to this kind of price action chart from the past, and I mentioned to you before about this. Something like this is possible to happen after the Fed starts to reverse its policy towards the interest rates. So we should not rule this scenario out. And I'm not claiming that this is 100% is going to happen, because we know we should remember the history, but the history also changes the way it has changed with Bitcoin, and I even suspect that it may change even on Bitcoin this time, because a lot of people expect that 2024, the period of the halving, and after halving, after which we historically started to skyrocket, I think this time we can pump upon this expectation, but after that we can get some surprise, because it may be the first time when Bitcoin is not going to skyrocket like it was before after the halving. So basically it is just theory. You should not take it very seriously, but we have to keep that in mind. Let's look at the dollar, because some of you were mentioning that it started to recover significantly, and we see this. Yes, this buyback candle looks strong, but technically the market is still on, I guess. What we can see here, so what we were talking about after we dumped here, I told you before that we have this intersection, this global trend line that we were running and holding for a long time, this global counter trend line that we are forming here too. And what is next? Also, I told you that 96 is going to be, I suppose this is going to be the bottom for this year, the lowest the dollar index can get this year. And let's enable our Kijun-sen shift and super trend. Let's turn off the super trend and only look at the Kijun shift. And what I told you before in the previous videos, I was talking that I don't like these candles, but we need to, there is possibility we need to hold this Kijun-sen shift and this intersection of all these supporting lines, and we didn't hold it. We dived under it, and now we are trying to reclaim it, and I do not know how successful this can be, because this candle looks actually solid, but there is no guarantee it is going to close like this. And the thing is, the situation here, it is a very sharp corner here. If we reclaim it here, then we can expect on a move up to these levels that we talked about before, that we are going to retest them. Alright, so definitely, but here is the thing, the support here in my opinion is here. Dropping and closing below is a new journey to 96 and 98. In my opinion, well, I see this candle right now and it kind of, I want to see how it is going to close here. All right, because if we reclaim it, then we can expect some move up and Bitcoin going in the opposite side. But if we start rejecting here and we'll draw some kind of pin bar here or whatever, and we start closing back under it, I would prefer here the consolidation here for a little time, and then we would go reclaim this level and go under this counter trend line as resistance. That would make more sense to me right now, because we have super trend as resistance here. We would retest it and then get rejection, and then we will go lower and to our ultimate target of support, yearly support here. So that would make sense to me. Of course, this, if we reclaim it again here, that would make sense to me too, but it would be always very questionable, because we can at any time break under it and get back down. I don't think we can get that sharp so we could draw something like this. We don't have that power already on dollar, and this at the same time we have more power at Bitcoin at the moment. So basically this would be my primary scenario, but we have to have this trend Kijun turned on. It is very insightful when we get rejected upon it, and even if it with this super trend resistance, then it is a good position to short or long on the crypto market, shorting on dollar index and longing on the crypto market. This is it. I guess this is it about it. And let's look at also I wanted to show something on the gold. Here what we have, a lot of insightful information here. This is why it looks not that bullish. We see this on the weekly, it is not a bullish candle here, and it already closed like this, and this is an aggressive bearish candle on gold. What we have this, we see this, let's remove all indicators here. We have this global trend line as it serves as resistance right now. It is a strong line, and we have an additional one, a little bit messy right here, but who cares. And now let's look at lower time frames and turn on our indicators. It is already the sign to sell here. We are retesting it. Of course, gold can do something like that right here. Let's move to the weekly. We see this bearish weekly closing, but we still can pump from it for a little while to retest this range resistance, maybe even trend line temporarily. But let's look at the monthly, and that's where we see it. We see a perfect rejection point here. What we see here, we held this global trend line, we lost it, tried to reclaim, failed here, failed under all these trend lines, full, and then we tried and we broke this monthly, means global monthly super trend support, and now we are retesting it as resistance. So if we are not able to reclaim this one, breaking it, and apparently we are not going to be able to do that, then we are going first here, then start to recover, trying, and then after losing this Kijun shit, we are open to dumping. Not that low, of course, but 170-700 is going to be guaranteed, in my opinion, even 1,600. So this is something in favor of the the crypto market, I guess, this situation. So there is still, it also says in the favor of the continuation of the higher movement for Bitcoin, but we don't know how fast it is going to be, or how far it is going to be. Let's look at our logarithmic chart, and it looks very clear here, and I mentioned it on my Twitter account. We have this global counter trend line. Look, the same situation as in 2014, in 2015. Yeah, the similar situation. We are breaking it. Now we are holding it as a support. So basically, we cannot break below it. If we break below it, it is going to be some kind of catastrophe, because we are breaking the formation here, and we are going to dump heavily here, which I don't think is going to happen. Is possible here. What we can do here, we can follow how this weekly is going to close. Thankfully, we are on the weekend already. Not that long is we have to wait. So basically, I expect the next weekly to open, and we are going either to reclaim it and retest. We can slide and chop upon this trend line as support, and every time we are going to touch it, we are going to recover from it. It is going to be a support. We will feel it, and we will go for the expansion up to here, maybe even higher. We don't know it yet at the moment. That significant level, I told you, upon the retest we will feel the reaction. It is the intersection of the 50 and 200 moving average. At some point, I think we are going to come for the retest here, and we have this dashed orange line that we are holding each cycle. It was a little bit messy. We broke it many times at the beginning in 2015, but I told you these are the critical levels, and this is the main level. So after that, we were respecting this dashed line for many years, and this year was not different. It wasn't different. So we held it here, and we have the possibility to come for the retest. Around 19,000 would be good. If we hold it, then after that we will have a good run after that. But we will test this orange line anyway. But for now, we simply do not know at what point. But definitely, when we touch it, and we are going to touch it, it is going to be a buy or long point. So this is it. So definitely we shouldn't be worried with our spot holdings if we bought before somewhere here in the bottom range. We can go a little bit lower, but that won't destroy our current positions in the spot holdings of altcoins, Bitcoin, whatever. I don't think so. Not at the moment, at least. Maybe after we retest and switch into under the Gijun monthly Gijun resistance, then we are going to think about it. So definitely, this is what I wanted to say about the market, the Bitcoin and other stuff. Let's look at some altcoins to make a difference. Okay, let's start with Injective. This one I was going to buy at 150. I was waiting a little bit lower. I was trying to, at least when we were here at 113, 118, I was expecting it to go to 95 at least to retest this returning point, and we didn't. We had some news about funding again on Injective. This is very promising project with a great tokenomic inflationary model here, so definitely it is worth holding this token in your portfolio. and I mentioned it in 2022, 2021. This one also is interesting because it dumped a lot, but the recovery spread here is very tasty here. If you were buying somewhere here, after that I was expecting the price again to retest those levels that we were testing before. It a little bit didn't get there, but the coin started the recovery, and I was looking at it and sharing on my Twitter account here. I was buying somewhere 156 and on spot, and it started to take off. And after that, traditionally, as I do usually, the price we'll get back the occasion. The price started to pump, and I placed my stop loss below it here and around my entry. But then the price manipulated here and squeezed me at entry. And then after that, I forgot about it. It has become not very interesting to me. And after that, it started to soar again. And it was kind of too late for me to buy. But then after the news was released that Injective gathered the 150 million fund for its ecosystem expansion and development. Definitely I decided to, I know that these kind of news, they pump the price very significantly, so I bought where the price was there at that point. So basically it was at $2.11 I bought here, and I mentioned it on my Twitter account. And then I told you guys to now follow this trend line as our support or resistance. So basically I bought at 211, up right at that day the price pumped and secured and went for the retest of this trend line as support. And I told you, if we dive back under it and close on the 4-hour time frame, on the daily under it, that it is a sign to bail out. We are not going higher. But if we hold it, and we precisely did here, then it is the sign that we are going higher. And also we have this range here, and we broke it, and definitely I held it right until the moment we reach the weekly. Let's enable the indicators here. Yes, we reached the intersection. It is not an intersection, but the zone where we all meet the weekly super trend resistance and the occasion resistance here too. So after that, I told you that it is a great spot here at around $4 to take your profits and maybe wait for some recovery, either to retest this purple range line at 315, 314, or maybe even going to retest this trend line, but it is questionable at this point at 270. So basically I drew two possible scenarios that are going to happen during this week. So basically we will be able to have some recovery, even doesn't matter how low it is going to be, because we have a solid weekly candle here. But even if we decide to dump after that and go for the retest of the weekly super trend support, definitely we need at least to draw some kind of wick here and then start squeezing down. So definitely we need during the next week we have to follow how this weekly is going to evolve. If we retest these levels of $4 and get rejected, at least on 4-hour time frame, we need to drop it and sell and rebuy at least upon this level of this trend line. If not, maybe even we don't know how the next weeklies are going to close, but definitely if we are starting the week with the dump, retesting this support here and we started the recovery, there is possibility that we reclaim this super trend as support, and then we are going higher up to $5-6 somewhere there and start chopping, and eventually we will meet this trend line as support, where we can, I would sell here, somewhere here I would sell definitely, and I would rebuy here because I would be safe here, and I wouldn't care if the price would go lower at that time, because definitely I bought much lower, and at the time we come to this line, I will multiply my injective holdings, so even if the price comes to the lower to the zone that I was buying in, even lower, I wouldn't be affected that much because I already multiplied my, I wouldn't lose my investments here. So definitely it is a good level here to look after. The second one, let's look at MINA. I recommend everybody to have MINA in their portfolio because zero knowledge narrative is popping up right now, and Vitalik Buterin is talking about it, and Binance just listed MINA's perpetual contracts trading, and who knows what is going to happen next. I think MINA is going to show itself. So basically what it did here, it recovered, it got back up. I told you what is important here. Let's look at the Kraken chart here where I drew my formations here. What I told you before, we need to break this global descending wedge, and we did it. And what was more fundamentally important is that MINA had to mark the first higher high, and we marked higher here. Doesn't matter where it stops and starts the reversal and recovery a little bit, but we will have it, in my opinion, and at some point we can be back to 60, 50, 60, 55, 60, 70 cents. So if we continue to run from here, we will definitely be back to 70s, somewhere there, and where we will be able to retest and mark higher lows, and that would be the sign that we are going higher and we are getting back to 250s to 60. Let's look at the weekly, how far we can go. Let's switch to the clear chart here, and we have some interesting we do not have enough history here, I guess. Let me find a more clear chart out here. Probably this one. I guess this one. So basically what we have here is, if we break this level of resistance here and MINA continues to go up, we secure this level of, and we start trading above 93, 95, and definitely if the market and Bitcoin goes higher, we will have a huge move from MINA, and we will be able to expect where this move is going to stop. Definitely it is going to stop around $2, and that would be a great place. Of course you can short MINA at this moment, but basically you can sell your MINA and rebuy 30-50% lower after the retracement. Let's get back to it. So basically this is a huge resistance level, and we know that, and we will need to retest this support again, in my opinion. So it is a clear, these are the clear levels to me. If we find the resistance here, then yes, we are going for the retest of 65, 58, I don't know, cents, and then we will be back to the upside movement. If we are reclaiming this breaking this level and going higher, then we are able to go up to 190, 180, $2, where we are going to feel the resistance, significant resistance on MINA, and that would be the place where I would sell. I bought my MINA not at the very bottom here. I bought at 58. It was my first accumulation asset, so I didn't care where I am going to buy it and how long I'm going to hold it. But if it comes to this around $2, 190 resistance, I would sell it and rebuy somewhere here at 120 upon the retest, and the retest is going to happen whether you like it or not at some point. If it comes there, we will retest maybe even that deep, or at least to this one. So it would be a great spot to sell here if we come to that place and rebuy here and multiply your MINA holdings. If not, we are going to reject here and get for the retest here, draw the higher low and go back up. So this is about MINA. Let's talk about Aptos. A lot of people are expecting what is going to happen to Aptos. We have this chart from Binance. I'm not looking at it. It is not serious because the prices were not trading here. It is some kind of drew the wick that was drawn by the market maker or whatever on Binance. It is not serious. Here what we got to know here, let's switch at the smaller chart on Bitfinex. I am using it. So basically after I received the Aptos airdrop, I sold it somewhere here, and I was predicting that the price is going to dump in the area of $1 to $4, and of course it dumped. It reached that level, even lower to lower than $4, around $3. But to be frank with you, I didn't buy it here, but I had the gut that I have to. But for some reason I didn't, because basically I wanted to hold to my strategy, my previous plan, original plan, that I was expecting the price to come at least to in the zone between $1 to $2. So I was definitely going to buy there, but here I was not that sure at that moment, but it happened. And I can understand why that happened, because the tokenomics are not very clear and shady with Aptos. Most of the tokens they hold that are the investors. So basically the price of the token dumped hard, and they needed to use this recovery of Bitcoin to pump it. They use their market makers to pump it significantly, because they know that for now they can pump it a lot. Why? Because only 150 or something like that million tokens are in circulations. The total supply is 1 billion. That's what they said, although they did not guarantee that in their report. So somewhere at the end of 2023 there start significant unlocks of the investors and core contributors tokens, and they would like to sell it. And now with this supply of less than 200 million, then they can simply pump the price how high they want actually. But when the unlocks start, it will be harder to do. So basically there are two scenarios here. We have uncovered areas, and I mentioned in my Twitter account that I am expecting the retracement, but that is not guaranteed, of course. But I drew as usual I drew these trend lines here. This is the ultimate bottom I am expecting if we go for the retracement in the coming weeks or months. And this is the local one. closer. So basically we have these untraded areas, that is, this 100% is going to be covered. This is questionable at this moment, but it is going to be covered also at some point. We don't know yet when. So what I'm expecting to see how the weekly is going to close, and I told you that on my Twitter account. And look at it, if we close like this, then the second one has to be like this, retest and going lower somewhere here, at least to recover this one, and maybe even lower. So definitely if we close this week on Aptos with some kind of this pin bar, or the candle like this, or even more aggressive one, then definitely we are expecting some kind of recovery, a little bit, drawing a little maybe weak here, and then squeeze below. Let's switch to the daily, and what we will see here, interesting situation. It has to be, I guess, on 4-hour time frame. Let's switch to it. Yeah, look at it. We already, the Kijun Sen shift, as was our support for a long time here, now it has become our resistance here alongside with the super trend. So basically during this weekend, if we retest it and we fail to break it, or maybe we have some squeeze here and then fake out the squeeze, then we are going to, it is a good place to short it. And we are going, first targets are here. This is the first target where we would take profit, because after that we can actually go for another leg up. We should not, at this point, we should not get fanatical with shorts. But eventually we will come to $9, I think. It is only in the case that we are not going higher. Basically what we have to do here to protect ourselves, definitely we need to draw some kind of counter trend line. As long as we are under it and retesting and getting rejected, then we are good for the shorts. If we reclaim it, then we have to be cautious. If we find some kind of support here, also the possibility to open longs. If we break these highs, then we are pumping higher, and it is possible. And what prices would we expect if we reclaim and break this all-time highs, we can call it like this here? If we break $19-20 here, Aptos is going to $36-40. That is guaranteed. Because why? Because the higher the price goes, and the higher are the ranges we are breaking to the upside, the higher is the volatility, and the price movements are increasing. So basically, if we are, this is the range resistance here at the moment, and it will be, and if we break it to the upside, then we start to accelerating the movement. So basically we should be very careful with this one. Okay, I guess that is it with Aptos. There's an interesting situation with cake here I wanted to share with you guys. Basically what we see here is that we have this global trend line that we are holding for some time, and then as you can see here, we held it, here we chopped it, held it, then lost it, then went down at our major support zone here, and now it recovers. For those who I know, this asset is being traded and invested in by people interested and fans of Binance. So basically we are at a very interesting level here, because if we, let's look at the situation here, yeah, there is a facilitating situation. We can go like this, and if we get back up, then it is going to be a great spot to long. If cake reclaims this, trend line as support. Then here upon the retest, it is a good spot to enter your longs around 440, 450. It is going to be a great spot for longs, and the price is going to go up to $6 at least, where we will meet a strong intersection of supports of Kijun Sen Shift and super trend. And if we break it then and reclaim it, then there is possibility of going even higher. If not, then of course we get rejected here and go for the retest. It is an important, I guess, information for those who like the longs and or who wants to buy here. As long as as long as cake holds as support this trend line, it is bullish. Okay, I guess that's it with cake. I don't know what to say with sushi. Sushi is interesting. It has already broken this level, and as long as we hold this range, small range here, as long as we hold it, and this trend line, of course, we are going higher. If we dive back under, then there's and upon the retest we get rejected here, then definitely we are going lower. Sushi wasn't moving that much lately because of the fundamentals at the moment, but there are some possibilities. I have a good entry at 94.80, 95 cents, you can call it like this. So the possibilities of going higher are very good here. We can go up to $2 at least here. If Bitcoin doesn't start to dump heavily and press to the downside, then we will be forced to dive back under, and that is not bullish already. So definitely need to hold these levels to go for the $2 at least. And the total limit, and that is not the total limit, I guess, it is the accumulation range here, but at some point the total limit would be 290 or 260. I'm not sure we are getting to that level, but up to $2 is possible. And if we go up to these levels of resistance of Kijun and super trend, then I would start shorting my sushi whole bag. We can do that on OKX exchange and do that successfully with the smallest leverage. Definitely would try that. And I guess it is it for today, guys. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.